Hello, I'm Howie Shariff, founder and director of You Call This Yoga, sharing with you our virtual fundraiser and one of our wonderful teacher participants who's been part of our leadership in advancing the awareness of yoga into the community. Kiesha Battles has been a wonderful liaison to the BIPOC community, yoga accessible yoga, and other groups in the Charlotte area that she's participating in that she'll tell you about. So I'd like to introduce Kiesha Battles, one of our dear team members. Welcome, Kiesha.
Howie, thank you. Thank you for having me here. Thank you for this opportunity to share myself a little bit more. I am one of the teachers of the Autumn Harvest with You Call This Yoga. I have the privilege of teaching yin yoga on Monday evenings with the intention of drawing people towards a more restful space. Prior to being a part of the Autumn Harvest Festival, I participated in the Zoom Fest that were going on throughout COVID, and they really were a great respite for me, as well as other people in my community that I wasn't able to get access to. And that was primarily my active adults, as well as my chair yoga community. So I was grateful when you guys reached out to me, I believe back in April for the first Zoom Fest, and you specifically asked me to teach chair yoga, which is one of the few things that I teach in the overall scheme of things, but definitely one of my passions in regards to accessibility. So right there, you gave me a mechanism to connect with my chair population. But then in addition to that, it was not just what I was teaching, it was the option for so many other things to be taught. So since then, I've been sharing these free classes with my community, and it's really reached out to people that have been in a need, and even how they can use it beyond this kind of COVID space of non-accessibility, like getting to yoga within your home, building community and finding the right space. So with that, of course, it all came about, your organization being located here in North Carolina, my home state, and loving the fact that you're a nonprofit. That's a big part of my kind of personal dharma and mission is serving. So immediately it was, yes, this is an organization that is doing this out of kindness, out of the truth and tradition of yoga, more than the commercialization of yoga. So things have really just kind of skyrocketed, I think, in these past 9 months with you guys, but definitely following you the past 3 years and really picked up a lot during your live events that were occurring over the prior years. So I could talk more about You Call This Yoga. I'll pause in case Howie has anything he wants to interject, and then I can share more about what I do beyond the scope of You Call This Yoga.
Thank you, Kiesha. I do welcome that opportunity because I'm encouraging people to register if this is not December 1 and to consider making donations during this period of season of giving as we're looking to raise money for our inclusive worldwide programming in 2021. We're looking to have 4 quarters of programming, each with a season, and your donations help to support teachers' stipends. That's what we're doing is fostering the professionals that are part of our team that continues to grow as people, as we've been able to engage with Kiesha without having to travel, but we're also in the other side of the world and with Spanish languages. Donations on December 1 are eligible for raffle, and we also have a board match for the first $5,000 raised in this season of giving. But back to Kiesha, because we want to learn more about her and why it's really precious to consider coming to her array of classes. What about your programming and what else you're doing with the community? We'd love to hear more.
Well, actually, Howie, I can definitely tell you more, but what you made me think about and the connection for those of you that are new to You Call This Yoga and our language and programming. This Autumn Harvest program that I've been teaching since September, the Yin Yoga class, it's a part of the programming that You Call This Yoga is funding for. It's a part of this 4 season of giving where these classes are accessible to anyone across the world at this point. Chair yoga, yoga in Spanish, yoga for BIPOC community, early morning yoga, yoga for people that are at work and to get stretching and desk time. So I like that you really connected back to what I'm doing. And when I was asked to be a part of it, for me, it was just, yeah, my time to serve. I'll volunteer for another class. And then all of a sudden I got a contract, and the contract said, we are paying you for your services. And I was like, oh, wow, bonus. And bonus really for me, because of course I plan to just volunteer my time. So the funds that I do get in through this stipend, I'm able to still help and serve my community. So I've been able to get out yoga props to people that are at home, blankets, bolsters, straps, pillows, all those type of things that are coming through in other ways, through the ways that you guys are serving us. Which then just takes me into the broader spectrum of what I do here in Charlotte. Oh, I think it might be 4 years. I'm getting old, or just COVID time frames are not matching up. 2016, me and some other yogis here in Charlotte, we created a group called Yoga in Action Charlotte. And I feel we had the same mission that you call this yoga does, but we didn't take it to the extent of becoming a formalized nonprofit and putting together a team of people that are really dedicating their time. So about 2016, we started this organization, Yoga in Action Charlotte, which was to promote the good going on in the community. People were doing that karma classes, Siva classes, classes to make things accessible, all the things that you call this yoga is doing. So I was one of those leaders that kind of was highlighting. We actually still have a Facebook group where anything that's going on that's really of a free Siva type of nature, we're promoting it and sharing it, because we understand that that impact goes beyond just what we're doing. So the more we connect with other organizations and share, the larger reach we get. So personally for me, Kiesha Battles, it starts with Kiesha Battles. Then I have my company, which is I Am Yoga, where we train yoga teachers, we train practitioners, we help people to get their own personal practice. And then from I Am Yoga, I have connections where I'm on Amplify and Activate. I am the vice president on their board of directors, which is another nonprofit for yoga. And they're focused around social justice, yoga, and self-care. Right. So that's another branch of how things get to another community and the word of yoga spreads more. Then my connections with Accessible Yoga, which is an even larger organization in regards to making yoga accessible in so many ways, even down to how people can access it on the computer. We don't even think about people that can't hear us or see us. How can they get this connection? So again, another broader community. The Black Yoga Teacher Alliance, definitely a wealth of knowledge. And that again is another nonprofit. So all of this yoga, which is really actually great for me, because as a student, I get to learn so much and do so many different things. It's just showing this more global impact of how yoga really can serve beyond us. Once we get right with ourselves, right? We got to get right with
Mm,
ourselves. But then once we do, we have this abundance that we can then start to share with others. And it really just creates this kind of great ripple effect. Um, so with that, Kiesha Battles, I teach yin yoga, which is a slow yoga. I teach chair yoga, which, I can do with all types of bodies. I used to teach people in their beds when I was able to get with them and be in their homes. I teach fast yoga. I teach yoga to BIPOC communities. I teach yoga to everyone, which is really the beauty of yoga. Um, and nowadays, we're being able to see, thanks to technology, all these other communities that if we can translate our yoga in the right language, it'll be beneficial for everyone. And not just translating it into Spanish or another language, but translating it to the communities and giving them the pieces of practice that they need, which will then evolve them into getting the other things that they personally decide that they want. So yeah, a lot of Kiesha, but a lot of connections to so many things that make up Kiesha, and what I like to do, what I'm grateful to be able to do. I'm situated in my home, right? Very privileged to have a home, privileged to have a spouse that, helps with the financial portion of life. Yesterday was Thanksgiving. For those of you that might be watching this at a later point, yesterday was Thanksgiving here in the United States. And I hosted, which was not really big, just my mom and my sister due to social distancing, but we hosted. And typically, when we're at my mom's house with the bigger family, we all go around and say what we're thankful for. And this year, since I was hosting, I got these cute little place cards from Target. And I gave everybody markers and we had to write it down. And I wrote down, I was thankful for my husband's job. Right. So very grateful for the abundance that I have in the present moment, which allows me to then, dedicate my time to support others. And I'm grateful I'm able to do that through yoga. Some of you, especially with Giving Tuesday coming up, you might be doing that for other organizations. And we definitely understand that, money is a concern during these times. So little things just by sharing, our free classes to someone that you think could use a little stretch or a little peace of mind, or forwarding any communications that you might get from us. And then again, anything counts. A dollar definitely counts. So, thank you for sharing a little bit more about me, which is the Karma Yogi. And you can learn a little bit more about Karma Yoga through a blog that I recently wrote, which is up on the youcallthisyoga.org website. Yes.
Exactly. Viewers, as you might tell, Kiesha is a well of love and relationships, as well as a bit of knowledge too. And chair yoga is my bread and butter, which I love. So anyone that teaches chair yoga already has a space in my heart, as I've been adapting to my disabilities for roughly 20 years. Uh, so we cherish that. We also cherish your support to help developing relationships worldwide within the communities. And that's why on this day of giving, on Giving Tuesday, we have raffles that donors are eligible for and yoga props from our sponsors, as well as a board match up to the first 5K. You can go to youcallthisyoga.org, donate to share. Thank you for considering that. And let's go back to Kiesha because we're getting ready to prepare for her class, if this is Giving Tuesday for you or in advance. Kiesha, what would you have folks to consider in preparing for your class today or any other time?
Yeah. Well, one thing to consider is with yin yoga, you'll still get the heart and the smile from Keisha, but you won't get as much energy from Keisha. Yin yoga is kind of the reverse of what I do out in the world. It's kind of going within. So we're gonna draw within, find some shapes that will hold for a little bit of time. You could do this in a chair and a bed. Most of the shapes are going to be in a seated position. Those of you that are used to props, grab those blankets, blocks, and maybe a candle to set the energy of the space. So that's what the class is going to be about: slow movement with some contemplation around gratitude, and where we are in the season of giving. Um, Really quick, what I forgot to mention that I definitely want to share is we do have a silent auction coming up in December. So please look for that as another way to engage with us, to support us. And for those of you that might be interested in getting a little bit of knowledge from me through teacher training programs, we're offering a 200-hour yoga teacher training or yoga studies program for anyone that wants to delve a little bit deeper into their practices. So look for that as an item for auction, as well as a yin yoga studies program. So check me out either this class now, you have a couple of minutes, find me on Monday, or just go to youcallthisyoga.com, say, how do I get in touch with Keisha? And I can definitely share so much more with you. Um, and we
How
have
about that shirt?
this is our logo, accessible yoga props for everyone. Definitely check out our organization. You can even purchase shirts to help support someone. So maybe that's a gift during this holiday season.
Well, that says it all. This is the least amount I've said in an interview. Thank you, Kiesha, for carrying the ball beyond Thanksgiving Day. It's so wonderful. Viewers, please get ready because Kiesha is the experience. Thank you so much, Kiesha, and we look more forward to more with you.
Mhm.
Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you. Thank you.